That's right. And as we've been reporting, coronavirus numbers moving up again here in the Coastal Bend, as they are pretty much around the country. And the transmission rate in Nueces County, the rate by which one person can infect others, that rate has gone from 0.9 to 1.9. So what does that mean for local school districts? Our Nora Perez has a look at that tonight.
And so the numbers are going back up, and we see that. And we see that in our patterns as well in the hospitalizations, and that's where we need to be especially careful.
That information released by the City County Health District Thursday. News that is especially alarming because more students will soon be returning to our local classrooms. Annette Rodriguez, Director of Public Health for the City County Health District, says she is in close contact with school administrators, and although the pandemic situation remains fluid, she feels that schools are able to adjust as numbers fluctuate.
I do think that the school is learning how to do it right. And so what I mean by that is as they get a positive COVID-19, they know that immediately that child has to go home. They know that they have to isolate them for 10 days.
Other safety and sanitation guidelines that CCISD already has in place include using multiple entrances on school campuses to minimize crowding, using desk shields in classrooms, heightened cleaning and sanitation of all campus areas, and having hand sanitizers and hand washing stations available for all students. CCISD is getting ready to welcome back 45% of their student population to face-to-face learning on the 16th. And Chief of Staff Kimberly James says the district is working closely with the health department to keep current on guidelines.
Even as late as this afternoon, we have a group of employees, district administrators that are taking that guidance and looking at how to apply that into our new plan. So yes, it's constantly changing, but you know what? You have to do that. You have to do that in order for us to all remain safe.
Nora Perez, 3 News.
Well, the Benbolt Palito Blanco ISD notified parents today that a student athlete has tested positive for COVID-19. That student currently is quarantining, and after investigating, a spokesperson for the school district says the risk of transmission is pretty low and that they will be deep cleaning all the affected areas. And word is that student who tested positive, as well as all the girls' basketball, football, and cheer athletes, were sent home early today and will now attend class virtually until they provide a negative COVID test and show that they are asymptomatic. Also, for safety, all practices have been canceled for the weekend. Again, this is in Benbolt.